Hello again and welcome to the final day of the microservices. I'm hiding my camera because I'm keeping it nice and dark in my office because I've got another migraine, but we should be good. So I'm just going to quickly spin up my Docker instances and we're going to come back and focus on this catalog here. So where did we get to? That is the question. We were starting to work with microservices, I believe. I think, anyway. Let's go to Insomnia and find out. Here it comes. So this was what we had. Send that. Couldn't connect to server. Oh, that is because I need to run a serve because I'm not fully using Docker. 8,000, send. Bish bash bosh, we got something. So at the minute, the biggest problem that we've got is that this is actually hitting Eloquent. And what we really want to be doing is just bypassing Eloquent if we can, I think. So let's dive into this, because when we go to search, we're going to build a Scout builder. Actually, let's just come down and check Composer quickly. We should have the microservices PHP. So why don't we look at using this directly? Okay, so we'll just do it this way. And that is not the page we are looking for. Microservices repos. Language, we're just going to quickly go down to PHP so we can find the right thing. Microservices PHP. And how do we use it? How do we use it? All of that's working. We get a new client. We can set that up. Index. Add documents. Search something. Get hits. That gives us hits. So let's have a look at maybe using this. Yeah, I didn't do a video yesterday. I had a few too many things popping up at home, so I didn't get a chance. So what I'm going to do in my catalog, I'm actually going to create a search service. Just make it a little bit easier. Yeah, it'll just make it so much easier. So public function construct private read-only client. Should be the HTTP one, I assume. Or just standard microservices client. Where are we looking? Where are we looking? Here we go. There we go. Client. So we could probably make that read-only. Public function search. Within here, we're going to have string null for the term, and then we will return this client. This client, the index we want to use is going to be the, I believe, products index. And then we're going to search. The query will be the term we're passing in. Search parameters we can figure out later. And we're just going to get hits for now. That returns an array of some description. So we want to be able to register this quickly. So I'm going to add a public static function register here. This will accept the application and it will return nothing so that we can just self-register. So app, we want to bind. The reason I'm binding, not using a singleton, is because singletons tend to have issues when we work with Octane. So new search service. The client is a new client. And then what we need the URL and the API key. So you should be able to hear me okay. Let me just make sure. Settings, audio. Yep, audio is coming through. Awesome. Okay, so it needs that being pulled through. So we need to get the stuff from the environment, really. So config. Config. Is there a scout config? Scout. Anything in here that I can use? Mainly search host. Scout.mainly search.host. Scout mainly search key. And scout.mainly search.key. Right, so that is that. So if we close this, come over to our controller, products, index controller here, what we will do, we'll inject it and we'll play with it. So we're going to have a public function construct and a private read-only search service search. Make that read-only. And what we'll do, we're just going to die and dump this search. The term we're passing over is request get search or null. Come back to here. What do we get? Hey, index products ID not found. Okay, so what we need to do is come over to here, warehouse, mainly search, get info. We want to come to here. Products, not products, index. So if we come to here, products, send again. Excellent. We have got an array. We are reading directly. We've only got 10, but we've only got 10 in the database, I believe. So what we'll do is come over to our seeder quickly. And what we're going to want to do is just skip that. Let's do that. Let's create 1,000. A migrate, fresh and seed. Just dump a load of them in the database and see what happens. Right. A serve. Come back to here. We're only getting 20 back at a time. So what we need to do in our index controller is build out a paginator, I believe. So we can get hits. Actually, let's have a look. Search service is coming over here. We're going to then search params. For options, search result, apply options, transform hits, facet distribution stuff. The options parameters around following keys are accepted. So let's go look at this. search, fill, attributes to highlight, get raw, return in an array format. So if I get raw from here instead of getting hits, what does this do? This will still only give me 20, but I can then utilize this as a offset limit thingy paginator. So return new length aware paginator. Items. Let's this search. Products is that. So we can use products, and what that gives us is we can use hits total is products NB hits NB hits per page, default 15. Current page is request get page or 1, and we're going to stick to that. We're going to ignore that for now. We'll come back to that part and we'll just comment that out. Can we now get this paginated? Current page data pages 2 Modi. It doesn't seem to be paginating, does it? Per page 15 to 50. Next page is 4. Send. Is there a way? Did the doc say anything about paginating? See what this says. Pagination best practices. Okay, so you can manually change that stuff. So it looks like I'd have to build up some form of pagination. Yeah, I'd have to play around with that. I probably don't have time. Yeah, it is really nice. But obviously, as you can see, the pagination isn't actually working. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the hits. Let's just die and dump on the products again. Send. This is giving me all the hits, and it's saying limit 20, offset that. So let's go to here, query. Options. Limit 10. Let's see if it respects limit. Still giving us 20. So let's go to here and let's say limit can we work with the limit in any way? Source, mainly search, client. We get the index, so we then go to that, I assume. Handles index. Indexes, we get the index at this point. Then we can, I'm assuming we can search within here. Search, trim query, search params. If array key exists, raw in options, return the result. Otherwise, get a new search result from there. This raw search, string query, search params, parameters is the array merge on that. Estimated total hits. Parameters comes from search parameters. The second one, let's have a look. Let's try it that way. Array 10, fantastic. So let's see if it will give us all of them. And it will give us all of them. Perfect. That is what I wanted. I just wanted to be able to get all of them. We'll get 1,000. We'll come over to here. At this point, we've got 1,000. Is this now going to respect the paginator because I'm giving it everything? Current page 4. The first one is Modi, apparently. No, it's still not. So what I suppose I could do is pass through an int limit equals 1,000, int offset equals 0, limit and offset. So over here we then have offset. If we want 15 per page, we want to then say request get page. And we'll just times that by 15. But what we want to do to make sure this works is -1. So that should do that. Now send it. Now go to 2. Different one. 3. We are now paginating. Fantastic. Invalid dot offset for positive integer but found negative. If we do not pass page, we want to pass 1. There we go. We now have a length aware paginator returning everything that we want to do. So we want to come over to our HTTP, create a new responses, and we are going to have a paginated response coming back. This implements responsible, which means it needs that method. So what we can do is public function construct private read only. Let's come back to here. We want to have something that is an abstract paginator as the data, private read only status, and we'll have status OK as as a default. So here we can then return a JSON response. Come over to this and return a new JSON response. The data is this data and the status is this status value. This can be read-only, and then this can be passed into here. So return a new paginated response where the data is that. We are returning something that is responsible, which is good because that's what we always want. We don't want a collection response, we want a paginated response. We're no longer touching the database, which is amazing. We don't need to default that one in there because that is the default. So now when we come over to here, send, we get what we want. Perfect. We should be, wow, that is literally giving us everything there. Limit. Let's do 15 and see what it does. So, search, Modi. What we'll do is, page is 2. Page 3. 45 pages, 15 each. Perfect. That is everything that we wanted to do with that. We've got a nice read-only sort of thing going on. What we can also do then is we can say, actually, we want, we want to search and we want to see something like, I don't know, quiz ilum. It'll appear somewhere in here. Maybe we want to search specifically for Lemke or test or nothing. We can start to use kind of human search based on this coming in. We can look at building out specific like faceted search that we can then pipe through to the search service. So if we have a quick look at this, scroll down, what we can see is attributes to highlight, formatted. We can get the formatted apparently. So if we grab that and we drop that in there, do this, category formatted. What's going on here? It's like it's not respecting the search properly. We'll play with it. It's not vital. This is proof of concept stuff. So that works. That works. Filters, update filterable attributes. If you want to enable filtering, you must add your attributes to the filterable attributes index setting. Filter, we can do that. So let's go look at this. We're going to want to say, what sort of things might we? Oh yeah, good point. Good point. Reverse engineered. We have got few things with reverse engineered in it. That is a good spot. Hive system. Thank you. Oh, this migraine is not doing me well today. So we can register, we can create a client, and we can search products. Next, let's go orders. I think this is enough for now for us to kind of get started. Shouldn't be editing that file. Search service, return a new paginated response with this magic in there. I think that to say that is giving us everything we could possibly want. That's perfect. It's working, and it's working extremely well. I just need to grab something from outside my office door. Give me 2 seconds. See my wife in the kitchen. Hello, Amy.
Hello. Bye.
Bye-bye, Amy. I'm back. Sorry about that. I forgot to bring something in. Right. So what we want to do here is we are no longer really going to focus on the catalog because that's working. What we want to do is come back to our orders, really. So orders. Let's go look at our orders. Does a client exist? Get all orders for this client and return the response. To achieve this, we're going to need to create an order first, in reality. So maybe we should just get that part done, right? Let's create an order for a client through the API and make sure we can list it. That'd be a good option. That's going to show us a few different things, which should be fun. So let's come back to here. Here we go. What we're going to do is root post to orders, name, orders, store. Let's go create that one. Let's not do that one. Client here. So make a controller. Products index, no. Orders index, yes. We want to call this the store controller. Make a request. Clients, store request. Orders, store request. So then over here, we can pass that one in. Store controller. Clients, orders, that one. And we are going to import this one as orders store. This comes to here. This uses a store request. Declare that. This will have a ULID. We don't want that. So we can clean that up. Come over to here, final. So let's just add this quickly. So when we create a new order, we need status, wait, shipping, billing, client. Come here. All right. Delete that. Declare some strict types. Make this final. Drop that out. So status is always going to be default. Always, 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 always. Order. Right. We want to be able to create a new order. This will basically, all it needs to do is take that client. Billing and shipping can be added later. Weight is a projected amount. Status is something that's automatically added. So when we create a new one, all we care about, well, actually, we don't care about any data because we don't need it. We need to create a new order. From there, we want to add items to our order itself. So let's come to here, commands, orders, and we're going to create a new command. This is going to be called create new order. This will have a public function handle. So have a string for the ULID for the client, and this should return a model, but more specifically, it should return an order. Return, oh wait, I need to pull in public function construct. I need to use my Launchpad package for this so that it's the way I like it. Private read-only portal has the database. So we've got database transactions available. This database transaction, the callback for this is going to be order query create. The attributes are that. What we want that to be is the client ID is going to be the ULID. The status is going to be order status draft. It's the first one. Let's come over to order. Weight defaults to 0. Billing and shipping can be empty. Perfect. Create new order. That should do everything that we need it to do. That will give us an order to then work on. So, ULID, client, create new client, queries. Going to create a new query. Fetch client by ULID. ULID is kind of like the ID anyway, but public function handle. This is going to return a model, more specifically a client, but it could return null. Return client query find or fail. The ID is the ULID that's going to be passed in. So we can grab this. And in our store controller, public function construct private read-only query. So we want to fetch client, create an order, return order for client. Now, when we create that order, we want to set as default order for client. So that's like the one that they're working on. So let's go to fetch a client. So we can say, we'll do it long form to start with and see how we can improve. This query handle ULID is the ULID passed in. That, at this point, gives us a client. So then, private read-only, create new order, command, quickly and just make that there. So create a new order, so we can say that our order is this command handle, we have a ULID for the client. We are going to then use this and say get key. At this point, we want to set as default for the client. So we could just do something really simple here, like cache put the key we want to use is something like, I don't know, client get key underscore dot actually we could just do active order. The value can be the order get key. TTL, actually, instead of throughout, we could forever drop that. So that will just be until there isn't one. Null pointer exception. That will resolve that one. Just do, this should be thrown automatically, but if there's no client, then throw new not found exception. Model not found exception. Message. Cannot find a client with ID, ULID. Remember, this is internal, so the code we use can be status, not found, value, done. That should handle it. If it doesn't, this will handle it. So there we go. At that point, is unnecessary. Perfect. Return the order. So we can return a new. Did we create an order resource? No, we didn't. Let's go and make resource, warehouse resource supplier category, product, company, client resource. We're going to create an order resource. This will be a model response. Data is going to be a new order resource, where the resource is the order. And the status can be status created, because we just created that order. So up here, we can wrap this in return that. That's creating a new one. So if we're authenticated, we should be able to create a new one for our client. So let's come over to here. We've got that. We're going to create a new request. HTTP products, no. Clients, orders, send, can connect to a server. That's fine. So now I can come here, a serve. This will be 8,000, send, internal server, however, root login not defined. That is fine. So application content type will be application JSON. We want to accept application JSON back. Please include your access token. So grab that. This new one over here. No, clients. This one is a post request. Still unauthenticated, so authorization at this point should be that. Send. Target class fetch client by ULID does not exist. So this is causing the issue. These namespaces. That is something to bear in mind if you're going to use a mono repo like this. And then obviously the create a new order is also going to cause an issue as well because of namespacing. Send. We have now got that. So we've got an order. Let's come here. Let's duplicate this. And we're going to say fetch client orders. Come to here. Let's grab that. Fetch client orders. Clients. That one. Orders. Get. We're hitting that. That's fine. This one is create client. This is a register user. This one is create new order. Right, okay. So if we just have a quick play around. Store controller, so order resource. So let's have a look at this. Declare strict types. Make this final. Drop that. And what we want is the ID is going to be this resource ID. But we need to have a property read order for the resource. This needs to have property read string ID. Property read order status for status. Property read int for weight. For now, I'm just going to keep it like that. Order resources there. Client, new client resource, where the resource is this when loaded. The relationship is client. Status is going to be this resource status value. Send. We've got a couple of orders there. That's fine. HTTP controllers, orders, index. Public function. Construct private read only fetch client by ULID query. Does this client exist? Client is this query handle. Wherever ULID is a ULID, and we can pretty much grab that, drop that in, get all of the orders for the client, fetch orders for client. Return order query where client ID is the ULID. Get. That's all I need. So fetch all orders for that client. Come over here. Let's do orders query or something like that. And down here, we will return a new collection response. The data is order resource collect resource is this orders query handle, we have a ULID, the client get key. I'm just going to leave it a day at that for now. So fetch client orders, send target class at fetch orders for client, fetch orders for client, we can fix. Send. Cool, we've got 2 orders. What we want to do is maybe include the weight on this, so we can have like the weight is going to be this resource weight, currently set at 0. We'll do something like a count. So this resource items count. Nothing added to them. So then we could do items is going to be an array of some sort. We can then go a make resource order item resource. Serve that again. And order item resource collection. The resource is going to be this when loaded relation ship is items like that. Store controller, index controller down there. And our query, orders query down here. We're going to pass in that. I'm going to have an array, include is empty. So what we'll do is we'll say with include for now, index controller down here. And we want to include client and items. Send. We've got client. Let's look for our items. So we can come down to the item resource, order item resource, fix this up. This is an array, so each item will have an ID. This item, hey, resource ID. Let's say what the resource is. So property read order item as a resource. Come over to the order item and just mark this out. Property read string ID. The product. So property read string for the product. Property read int for the quantity. Property read, we're going to get a money class back for the price. And property read int for the discount. So order item resource down here. We can then say that the product is this resource product. Quantity is this resource quantity. Price is this resource price. And do we have any discount applied? This resource discount. Let's go do that. Items needs hooking up, I think. When loaded items, we don't have anything added to it. That's fine. All right. Why are you not using sparsely Laravel data for DTOs instead of request validation resource? Because I don't use that package. I don't personally need that much magic wrapping around it. I like to do it this way, and it works for me. So what we want to do is, when we update an order, we want to be able to add new items. So let's say we have an ID for an item and we want to just say add that one. We're getting that information back from the, let's name this, fetch products. This is going to come from a different service. The root products couldn't be found. That's fine. That's because the catalog service isn't running. So a serve that's going to run on 8001. So let's come over to here and say 8001, run that one. So let's say we want to add that product. So we're going to say create a new HTTP request, HTTP 127.0.0.1, 8000 clients, that one, orders, let's get the body, add JSON quickly, and we're going to say the product we want to add is that. So fetch, create client, create orders. Here's the orders. Let's go for this order back down here. This is going to be add item to order. So we're going to do a post request to this order here. Send it. It's not found. It's fine. We're going to work on that. Content type is application JSON. We want to accept application JSON. And I'll authorize the authorization here is going to be that send. We're still going to get a 404, but that is fine because now we can come to catalog, routes API, down here, orders, and we're going to say route post orders. We're going to, I don't know, just pass through order there. Name is going to be orders. We've got an orders store. Orders add. So just keep it simple. Is this in client? Yes. So I can now make a controller, orders store, and orders items store controller. So a make request orders store item request. We can just say it's store controller orders item store controller class, and import as an alias order item store. Come over here. Add that in, declare some strict types, make this final, drop that, clean this up, come over to here, don't want that, declare some strict types again. So what do we want to make sure that we're passing through? So we know we are going to want a product. This is going to be required, and it's going to be a string. And that's all we can check because we're using a different service for this. So when we look at order items in general, we want product quantity, and that is kind of it. Maybe we want discount as well. So product quantity, this is required, and it should be an integer, and discount could be passed, but this is a nullable amount. If it is passed, we want it to be an integer. We want the min to be 0 and the max to be 100. I believe that should work. We can look at that later. So at this point, we should have a ULID, a string for the ULID for the client. And then we should also have another string for the order. So at this point, I'm just going to die and dump on ULID and the order. Send it. What does it give me? Quantity field is required. Perfect. JSON. Quantity. We want 1. We've got that going in. So if I say 100, if I say 1,000, one of those, sorry, we want to do that on here. So discount 1,000. Discount field must be no greater than 100. That is 100% discount. 0 is no discount. And if we try and override it in any specific way, discount field must be at least 0. So we can just play around with it that way. That is working. So at this point, we have a client and an order. Now, what we want to do when we add something to our order is, realistically, we don't need this straight away. So we can say, make a new job, orders, add item to order. We can use that. So let's go add item to order. Clean this up. We are PSR 12. We do have Laravel Pint available, but it's just as quick sometimes just to do this while you're creating it. Queuable. There we go. So what does this job want? This job is going to want to accept some form of payload, and then it's going to want to handle. So at this point, all we want to really do is, let's use a public function construct. I've got a class for this in Launchpad, so I say private read-only dispatchable command bus, and I can say, I don't know, this bus dispatch new add item to order. That is all I need to do. And then I can return a message response. Let's just make that a new one. New message response. The data is an array with a key of message, and that message is going to be, we are processing your request, because we haven't technically done it. So here we can just say status accepted. This will return a responsible object, and that is all we need to do. We accept, we validate, we dispatch, we return. So at this point, we want to pass through the client using the ULID. we want to pass through the order as the order identifier. The product that we might want to send through is request string product to string. The quantity we might want to use request integer quantity, and the discount request integer discount with a default of 0. So here we can say our public read-only string client, public read-only string order, public read-only string for the product, public read-only int for the quantity, and public read-only int for the discount. So that should all work there. This then comes to here. We can then handle this. So the steps that we would want to take at this point: check that client and order exist. Check that the product exists. Add to the database. So this part here, if client query where ID this client exists. So if it doesn't exist, we can throw a new invalid argument exception. Import this. The message will be client does not exist. This is an internal app, so this sort of error message is super important to us. Then, if the order query where ID is this order exists, again, we can throw another exception and say, okay, so we're having issues here. Something is going on. Actually, at this point, if that doesn't exist, we can say order equals, no, we'll go one better. Order equals order query first or create the attributes. How should I do this? So if the order doesn't exist, then we want to basically create it. If the order does exist, then we're just going to carry on. How could I do this nicely? I'm trying to think of a nice way to do this so it doesn't look ugly. Let me have a drink and see if my brain wants to kick into gear. So at this point, if a client exists, we don't want to do anything anyway. But if the client does exist, we should have a client. So what we can do is order is order query find the ID is this order. If there is no order, then what we want to do is say that order is order query create. The attributes are status, order status draft, and the client ID is this client. At this point, we can guarantee that we have an order. Next, we want to check the product. So we didn't add any endpoints on our catalog for checking the existence of a product yet. So we can go something simple like root get pass in the UL ID, we'll add a name of show, add that double dot there, come over catalog and say a make controller orders products index products show controller a serve again, because we're going to want that running in the background. So we can use show controller there. Just do that. This is one where we probably actually use a database because we're just doing a quick lookup. So make that final. We don't need to use anything specific here, so we can just say string ULID responsible product equals, we're just going to do a quick query here. So product query, find or fail. The ID is the ULID passed. If no product, throw a new model not found exception where the message is no product for ID ULID. Again, it's internal, and we want to return a new model response. The data that we want to pass is a new product resource. The resource is going to be the product, and that is it. That's all we want this to be. So let's just close everything down, come back to our client, down to our jobs. Here, here's what we want to do next. So services. At this point, I'd probably go, okay, let's create a catalog service. Public function construct. This is going to want to have a private read only pending request as a request. I like to self-register these, so public static function register. This is going to accept the application. Not going to return anything. So then we can say app bind. The abstract is a catalog service, and when we do build it, we want to provide these instructions to say that we want to create a new catalog service, and the request that we're going to pass through is HTTP base URL. For now, we're just going to hard code this because it's simply one 0.0.1 8001, and we are going to go to products. We'll maybe drop the products for now. Timeouts. We will set the default seconds to be 60. And say that we are going to send everything as JSON, and we want to accept JSON for now. So that in our providers, app service provider, when we're registering, we can just say catalog service, register where the app is this app. Self-registering, everything's all in one place, nice and clean. So at this point, we've got that, our catalog service. Let's come down to our routes API. This does require service authentication because we don't want that to be kind of, yeah, you know what I mean, available for everyone. So our catalog service, I'm going to hard code this, but you'd do it a different way. So you'd say with token, where the token is this one. So at this point, I want to just do like a catalog service, public function, lookup. We're going to pass through a string for the product. And basically, all this wants to do is verify it. So I'm going to return the cache. I want to remember this key. So I'll say lookup underscore product. The callback is going to be this request get. The URL is going to be products, product. And the TTL is going to be, I don't know, an hour maybe. So the reason I want to do it this way is because I'm doing internal lookups here. I'm going, okay, I want to look against this service and I want to look up this product. Does this product exist? So I don't have to always make that request against my other service if it is not actually a valid product. There we go. Products, product, add item to order. Over here, we can add the catalog service as a service. What I would do actually on the lookup, this request get JSON. I want it to throw by default if it doesn't exist. Actually, no, I don't. Tell you what we'll do. We will say successful. So that should just store true or false. Does that product exist? If the service lookup and the product is this product, if it doesn't exist, then we want to throw a new invalid argument exception with the message of invalid product ID passed this product. At this point, it should exist, so I could just say something like, let's pull in portal as well, just because portal database. So we can just say database, create a new transaction. The callback is going to be order item, query, create. The attributes for that order item is going to be product, this product, the quantity is going to be this quantity. The discount we might want to pass is this discount. We want to be able to pass over that order ID as well. So order ID is this order. So what we want, we need that price. So realistically, that might not work. So successful, no, we're going to use JSON at that point, or just return that actually. Return that. If this lookup catalog service, this should return a response. So down here, successful. So the item is going to be that. So if the item is not successful, then do that. Otherwise, we're going to say that the price is going to be item. What we get back from that item at this point is going to be catalog app HTTP resources product resource. We should get data price, I believe. So let's test it. Data price for now. So let's test it. Let's test it. Go. Boom. Apps, catalogs. Always happens. Always happens. Right, app. Add item to order. App. Send. Catalog service not found. Don't care. I've done it. Okay, it's in the controller. Catalog, client, HTTP controllers, clients, orders, items, store. Add item to order. Where are you? Add item to order. App job orders. That should all be working. Let's do a quick composer dump autoloader. App service provider. Haha. It was elsewhere. It was here. Send. Undefined array key data. So add item to order. Come down to here. At this point, we've got this, and let's just do a quick dyn dump on item. Send. We've got an item. Now we want to get the JSON. So at this point, F6 stream must be of type resource, type error, coming back from the warehouse, client vendor, bloody, bloody, bloody stream. So we've got that. This is a client response. JSON. Send. Where is this stream stuff coming from? Add item to order. Function JSON. So apparently, some sort of stream is causing an issue. So item successful. Let's do this. JSON data.price and see what it does. F-seek doesn't work. Okay, that's item what could I get? Object. Let's see what item object does. fseek again doesn't work. Body, no. Successful? Yes. Let's dive up on that item and see what's going on. So we're getting all of that powered by decoded. We've got a stream coming through. So at this point, that's lots of balls. Effective URI, handler stats, offset exists, on error redirect, server error, throw, to exception, to PSR response. What happens if I do that? Response, get body. Get contents. Unable to read stream contents. Stream must be of type resource. Okay, so something funky is going on there. So what we will do is let's just go here and we're going to duplicate this. Fetch product by ID. Products. Send. We are getting something. You're definitely getting something. What that is, I don't really know. I don't know why this is causing an issue, to be honest. Add item to order. Unable to read stream contents. Catalog service. Here. This request. We should have a get there. We should be able to. What does wait do? Wait until the promise completes if possible. What does that do if we pass it to a promise? This request get. Don't want to wait. Headers, cancel, get state. Otherwise, reject, resolve, then accept. Lots of booleans. Client error, cookies. Tell you what I'll do instead. For now, is I will just, when we look up, I am going to quickly do a line dump on that. Send. So we're getting that back at that point. So we will just store JSON in the cache instead. So when we come back to adding an item to an order, at this point we should still have the same thing. That is a response. Okay, so client A cache clear quickly. That's not going to help. Return should be response, but what that is going to return is an array. Send. We have got that there. So over here, then we can say, if there's no item, we do that. Otherwise, we're going to go to item data price. Let's go double check what order item is here. That is should be an integer at that point. So what we want to do is grab this, say, money of the amount, price, amount, the currency, get amount, big number, to int, done. So, brick money not found. Composer require brick money. Let's just go. Fetch client orders. Send that. Send. Undefined array key data. So maybe data doesn't exist. Maybe I've already unwrapped it. Data, delete. Come back. Send. We are processing your request. So now if I fetch client orders, I have got a product within it. But what we need to do at the same time is add order item to database. But what we also want to do is we want to kind of trigger update order to include new weight. Because if we go look at the order itself, we've got a weight going on here. So we need to kind of increase the weight each time a new product is added. So again, we can do a new database transaction where the callback is going to be, do we already have the order? Yes, we should have the order at this point. So we can say order, can we increment? The column that we want to increment is the weight. The amount we want to increment it is item. So if we fetch product by ID, item weight. That's it. So if we add a new item there, so fetch client orders. Let's look at that at the top. This one. Fetch client orders. Currently the weight is 0. Add an item. Processing the request. Send it again. Our weight has gone up. We've got one of those and we've got one of those. So we're starting. It's a beginning of the process. What we should really be doing when we're adding this to here, what we want to do in reality is update or create. So the attributes that are going to be the same all the time are going to be that. Then these will be values. So the common attributes. This product in this order. This could get messy. So that quantity, we want to, in reality, if we're adding a new one, increase that. So perhaps we need to do something like exists is order item query where product is this product and where order ID is this order. First or fail. Let's do it like that quickly. So where that first or fail. So if it does exist, then we want to exists increment quantity by exists this quantity in theory. But while we're doing that, the price is likely to change. Want to increment that returns that. We also want to, maybe we'll do it differently. So exists, we'll do an update. So the update that we want to do is quantity is this quantity plus exists quantity. So like we're increasing it by X. And then the price is going to be, we go exists price plus that. Wrapping else. I don't really like the way I'm doing this, but hey. Grab that. Drop that in there. We'll just do a create. Drop that, and away we go. Create. There we go. And let's just format that. So basically, this is messy as hell. So, I'll just turn my fan on. We're handling it. So, if the client doesn't exist, just throw an exception. Try and find an order for the order pass through. If there is no order, then just quickly create it. Then we're going to look at the product. If the product doesn't exist, then invalid product ID passed. Fix it, move on. Try and see if we've already got an order item. If we do have an order item, let's increase the quantity and the price. If we don't have an order item, then let's just create a new one. And then finally, we want to update our order to include the new weight. So item weight times by this quantity. So we want to increment it by the weight of the item times by however many we actually want to add. So if we get this now, add another item, what I will do is in our client artisan Atinker app models order item truncate. We'll just truncate that. No query results for that order item. For model order item. That is coming from somewhere. First or fail. Submit again. We are processing your request. Fetch client orders, send. We have got one. Price is that. There's the weight. Send it again. We want to add another one. This now should be 2. That price should be increased over there. Oh no, we haven't got the price up there, it's just that's doubling. So 8080. Add another one. 12120. Weight is going up, price is going up. Fantastic. I'm going to call it a day there. What we've shown so far is how we can effectively talk between microservices, how we can authenticate across microservices, and how we could do a few other things. So what I'd like people to do is on Twitter, let me know what you want to see next. Do you want to see something specific? What's bothering you? What could you do with additional explanation on? Bonus points if it's API related, because that's kind of what I do best. Let me know. I'm going to head off, try and get rid of this migraine. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good day, evening, morning, night, whatever time it is. Stay awesome. Catch you next time.